Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 22nd. I'm Zach Howard. Here's your morning market update. We are rocking the bull hat as the melt up for the summer melt up continues in U.S. equity markets and high beta trades. All-time highs yesterday again in the S&P, NASDAQ, even the Russell small cap showing higher lows, higher highs. Volatility continues to be compressed. Lower lows, lower highs in the VIX, lower lows, lower highs in the US dollar. So all-time highs with accelerating volume, with falling volatility. That's a recipe for continued risk on. Could we get a pullback? Absolutely. But the trend is hard to fade here when you look at this chart from a long-term perspective. Why would you want to? Further to the higher highs in the equity index, that's being driven by those mega cap stocks, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia. Those three companies, almost $10 trillion fiat market cap value. They're the ones that are really doing all the heavy lifting. And they continue to show higher lows, higher highs. Apple's joined the bullish trend, which were the only two, along with the car company, that were bearish. Now bullish for Apple. Higher lows, higher highs there. Google puts in a higher high. I don't know what's to be bearish about outside of that car company, which actually reports earnings tomorrow after the close, which should be a bit of a shit show from a traditional financial metric standpoint. But the flows in the machine will continue to drive that stock as well, just because of that volatility regime continues to fall, like the altcoins, the car company being the biggest meme coin out there. Japan, let's focus in on Japan again, which is a key theme of mine, because it is the fastest developed countries with a falling debasement of the currency. We've already seen it, and it will continue to accelerate with the massive demographic nightmare that Japan has. AI, can it really overcome, a technology, the issues that the underlying old people that live in Japan is struggling with to change their economy, and this massive money debasement and money printing that the Bank of Japan has already undergone, that the US is starting to go through? Headline, Japan CPI now surpassing the US. Contrast that with, like I just say, the demographic issues and the lack of growth. It's going to get ugly before it gets better in Japan. Really genius for Meta Planet to list and take advantage of that currency in that market. From that standpoint, Japanese government bonds, no bid after the Bank of Japan buys them all up. It's going to continue to be a problem. Eventually come back to the market, do yield curve control again on that longer duration side, which further puts a bid into assets that cannot be manipulated, printed, created at free will with strokes on a keyboard, i.e. gold, i.e. real estate, i.e. commodities, i.e. Bitcoin, measured in that Japanese yen. USA eventually has these same dynamics play out at accelerated rate, but for now, Japan leads that race. Just some Bitcoin metrics. A new one came out last week. Price to Bitcoin yield per day is the cover. Smarter Web Company came out with these metrics, looking at a week over week change from month over month change in some of these different companies, and we're there too today. Lower number. My favorite one here, the Canadian Lightning Network, Liquid, continues to improve from that metric there. This Swedish company, H100, did continue to stack massively in their market. SQNS is joining now, leading the race of Bitcoin accumulation in the French market with blockchain company now renamed Capital B for Capital Bitcoin, as announced yesterday, for that blockchain group trying to step up to the plate alongside MetaPlanet and Strategy. Interesting, creating a subsidiary in Abu Dhabi, the UAE, which is a big holder of Bitcoin. And its Strategy continues to implement innovative financial products that the market is willing to support from a demand perspective. Yesterday announces Stretch, their new preferred stock offering, have an expected institutional demand of over 500 million on their IPO. This is going to be targeted for 5 million and up institutional pension funds, insurance companies, endowments. This is what Strategy and Sailor are creating, products that all while treasuries, boring products, have never I had a competitor for before. Now Bitcoin, a Bitcoin company looking to attack that market, which is way bigger than the common stock market out there for a issuance of fiat to stack more Bitcoin at an accelerated rate. Here's a look at the innovative products outside of just the MSTR common stock that Sailor and that company now have created. They had the Stark, the STRF, the STRD, and the STRC, all varying dividend yields, all different capital structure in terms of where it sits in the balance sheet of the company. Redemption mechanisms, some have convertible options to common, some do not. But the bottom line is this company continues to innovate with different financial products that the market is willing to buy. The haters, the people that want to say this is a Ponzi, that this is a bubble, keep talking, but the action in the price and the potential capital institutions that want to deploy capital into this speaks volumes, and so is the performance of the company. That's really all that matters more than narrative at this point. Bitcoin looking to make a run here past 120 today as more announcements out there in treasury land space. That's what I got for you today. We will see you tomorrow. Cheers to that.